So, are you more excited for Obi Wan or the Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, dude. Oh, shit.
I've been saving for a couple days. I was about to ask it to you when you called me the other day, and then I was like, no, this is a good podcast question.
Oh, okay. So did you see The Mandalorian just before I get into this?
I've seen the first season. I haven't seen the second season.
Okay, so you need to watch the second season.
Okay.
But anyway, Book Boba Fett or Obi-Wan? Probably Obi-Wan, just because Obi-Wan is a god. I was never, like, the biggest Boba Fett fan. I feel like he was way too overrated.
I know you brought this up before.
Yeah. Lately, I have started to like him a lot more, but so I'm pumped for his show. But if someone said right now, would you rather have Obi-Wan or Boba Fett? Obi-Wan.
I think the coolest thing about these shows, though, is that they're getting they have Ewan McGregor
Yeah.
and Hayden Christensen back.
Yeah, they got Obi-Wan. They got Ewan McGregor back for Obi-Wan. They also got Tamura Morrison back for Boba Fett.
Yes.
That's a guy who loves that character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's chilling in the Polynesian spa. That's one of the best. I'm going to insert. I don't think that there's been any other point where I wanted to insert a clip today, but I will insert a clip of that.
I've been away for 7 months. Now they're filming the Book of Boba. Ooh, fight scenes, makeup. The one thing I've really missed is this hidden gem. Here in my hometown, Rotorua. The Polynesian spa. Come on, New Zealand, try something new. There are no words.
So you'd say right now, you'd say Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Although,
the show I am the most excited for is Ahsoka.
Yes. I think that that's going to be a great show too.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, between Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit. I am very excited for Obi-Wan, mainly to see Ewan McGregor playing that character again. But I think that the Boba Fett show could offer us, obviously it is going to offer a lot of insight into the character of Boba Fett. And I think that, like, for people like you who kind of view him as an overrated character, which is understandable, I think that this show can finally do his character justice.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
and I think that the title of it, like the book, anything with like the book of blank in front of it, it means that like the character has seen a lot of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's probably why I'm a little more excited for the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, I get you.
But let's transition into your fourth question.
Well, I feel like I should stay on the Star Wars topic.
Okay.
What is, in your opinion, the all-time best lightsaber battle? Movies, TV, anything. Best lightsaber battle.
I'm just going to take from the movies here. Again, my memory gets really hazy on the sequels. I'm going to ask you a question about your question. Can it be a duel where, like, maybe lightsabers only played like, we're only a part of like half of the duel?
Okay, so let me ask you a question about your question.
Okay.
Are you gonna say Obi-Wan versus General Grievous?
No,
Okay.
I would, because if the lightsabers, the lightsabers were a part of this duel, but they weren't the coolest part of the duel.
Oh, I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Palpatine versus Yoda.
Yeah.
Because like, I like how like Palpatine shocks him, right? And then he's like, "My little green friend," and then like Yoda's like, "Not if anything I have to say." And then he has the most epic force push ever on Palpatine, literally knocks him out of his chair. Yeah. That is probably, but they do have a cool lightsaber duel.
He knocks him into his chair.
Oh yeah. But a majority of that duel is, I mean, not a majority, the best parts of that duel is their powers. Yeah. Right. But if we're going purely off of lightsabers, I mean, I have to go with another duel in episode 3. It's got to be Obi Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar.
Yep.
Like that is the longest duel, and just like the most emotionally invested. And can we talk about how Anakin literally jumps like a superhero? Like when
He
you think he's
does.
going to be engulfed by the lava when that thing is going off the cliff, he literally jumps like a fucking superhero
Yeah.
onto that moving platform with Obi Wan.
Which there's no way he could have known that platform was there.
Yeah.
Like, he just did. He's like, fuck it. I mean, either way, I get engulfed in lava. Let's hope I land on something.
I would also like to point out the fact that like Anakin could have just jumped onto the high ground, not directly under Obi-Wan, and climbed up to the same spot as him.
Yep.
But that's neither here nor there. I would just like to point out the fact that just because you have the high ground doesn't mean that you automatically win. I mean, Obi-Wan would know from personal experience. He had the low ground twice in significant fights and won.
Well, I mean, the reason that he beat Anakin, he wasn't above Anakin when he hit Anakin. He was below Anakin.
Oh, well, that's an interesting point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Obi-Wan is the master of the low ground.
But he deceived us into thinking that he's the master of the high ground.
Yeah. He beat Darth Maul because he was below him.
Okay, can we talk about Obi-Wan's sass for a second?
Oh my holy fuck, dude. Okay, I just came to the coolest like connection between things. So after you talk about Obi-Wan's sass, remind me to bring this up.
Okay. So Obi-Wan's sass is funny 95% of the time, but sometimes I'm like, bruh, does this dude ever stop with the jokes?
Yeah.
Like in Clone Wars, him and Anakin are sometimes in life-threatening situations, and I'm like, does this guy ever stop with the sarcasm? He reminds me of someone that I know personally. This person's initials are TK, and I know that they think they're too cool for me. So no chance of this person ever seeing this podcast. Obi-Wan sass is hilarious, but sometimes like that's honestly, I commend the like. I think it makes his character more lovable though.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the question that you were gonna say?
I found a connection between two things.
Oh yeah.
So the reason that Obi-Wan knew how to beat Anakin in that moment is because he beat Darth Maul by doing what Anakin did. So Obi-Wan learned how to counter it. Because he beat Darth Maul by jumping over Darth Maul and then slicing him. So he figured out, he knew Anakin would do that move and he knew how to counter it.
Oh, I see what you just did there. It's like the full circle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like in the first time we meet Obi-Wan, he's doing that move to kill the ultimate evil. The last time we see him in the prequels, he's doing that to the most important, to yet another, the person who became the biggest villain.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow. Well, that's a good connection. Okay, well, let's get into my fourth question. So we've talked about a lot of the worst things that we've done or worst whatever on today's podcast. But I'm going to flip the script here. What's the best decision you've made in the last 6 months?
It's going to be when I decided to stop trying to appeal to what my teacher wanted my script to be, and I just decided to make what I wanted.
Well, good for you. Good for you. You know, you're standing up for what you want to do from a creative standpoint. Always a good thing.
Yeah, my teacher has he kind of has like his own thoughts on how things go. Like I heard a story of him doing this to someone else. My friend Anne had written a script for last semester where it was this couple who is arguing because one of them isn't doing their fair share of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of this joke throughout it where she'll eat a bite of spaghetti and she slurps the noodle and the noodle just doesn't end. It just keeps going. So the person who's pissed off just has to sit there for an uncomfortably long time waiting for the noodle to end.
I see.
And so she wanted it to just be a funny story. The teacher thought it could be like a female empowerment piece. And at some point she just put her foot down and she's like, that's not what I want it to be about and that's not what I'm going to make it about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to know that the teacher does that with a lot of scripts and not just mine.
Like,
He wanted me to like take mine out of the room. He wanted. He says it feels more like a scene than a full film. But if you write a scene good, it can feel like a whole story on its own,
yeah.
which is what I did. And so he didn't like that the whole thing was in one room, and he wanted me to take it out of the room, and he wanted me to have like flashbacks to stuff, and I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
so I had submitted one version of the script, and that's when he gave me all those notes. But he also gave me like approval that I could shoot that if I wanted to.
Hmm.
So then after that, I was like, I don't need to make him happy anymore. He said I can shoot the script. I can do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
I
I
mean,
stopped trying to do what he wanted.
about that first point that you said about how, like, the slurping the never-ending spaghetti noodle as a comedic point, and wanting to turn into some female empowerment thing. I think that is one problem with film school teachers, is that, like, they always, or just English teachers, or just teachers in general, especially English teachers, they always want to put like a meaning behind something. Like, sometimes I just want to do something just for the pure entertainment of it, like, just for the purity of it. It doesn't need to have some kind of deeper meaning behind it.
That's
But
part
that's
of the
just you.
fun of that's part of the fun of most superhero movies. There's
Yes.
not always a deeper meaning. It's just fun. Unless it's a James Gunn superhero movie.
Okay. Well, out of best decisions I've made in the last 6 months, I'd probably say figuring out that happiness is a choice.
Uh,
Probably one of the most profound things I've realized. But let's get into your last question here. What do you got for me?
if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
If I could go back 10 years and tell myself one thing. So if I went back 10 years, I'd be 10. I was more conscious at that age than most 10-year-olds, not to toot my own horn. I was moving along pretty good in my development at that point. I'd probably say, 10 years ago, 2011, I'd say start doing YouTube now. Because, dude, if I started YouTube when I was 11, I could have had 303 channels by the time I was a senior in high school. We would have been sitting at the back of Miss Voss's class talking about my YouTube glory. I mean, I do think that, like, starting YouTube earlier would have been a good thing. That definitely would have been a good thing to tell myself. I'd probably say the YouTube thing for now, because the other thing I was going to say was that I could go back and say everything's going to be okay, but I don't know if that's if that's going to be the case. I'm only 20. I don't know where 5 years from now how good or bad my life could be.
I'm so much of a simp. I'd probably say don't try too hard with the females. Because you will waste way too much of your own time doing that.
Well, it's good that you're at least conscious of being a simp, because most guys aren't even conscious of it, and most guys would even defend their actions.
I don't know if you've seen X-Men First Class.
I haven't.
At the end of it, Mystique says to Beast, she says, "Hey Beast, mutant and proud." And all I can think of is someone saying, "Hey John, simp and proud."
I'm going to ask you my last question. I kind of feel like I've said this one a few times before. It's kind of a two-part question. So, one, there's this isn't really a question, it's more of an order for you. There is a Sopranos prequel movie coming out in October, and I really think you should see it.
The Many Saints of Newark.
Yes, exactly. Because you don't need to have obviously it's a prequel, so you don't need to have seen the show to enjoy the movie. So you should definitely watch that.
Okay.
And then the other thing I was going to ask you was, in the over the last 3 months of the year, what's the movie you're most excited about that's going to be releasing?
Oh fuck! There's so many good ones, dude.
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones coming out. I heard you have another nerdgasm while you're saying that.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. So next weekend, Venom: Let There Be Carnage comes out, right?
Oh yeah.
The weekend after that, I'm looking at my Billie Eilish calendar. The weekend after that, No Time to Die comes out. The weekend after that, Halloween Kills comes out, and the weekend after that, Dune comes out. Probably Dune of all of them.
Yeah, Dune looks really good.
There's so much good looking stuff. I mean, there's House of Gucci also. The Last Duel. Ridley Scott has 2 movies coming out like a month apart.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's 83, and he's like, I'm during a pandemic, I'm gonna shoot 2 blockbusters. And then in November there's Eternals, and then the year ends with Spider-Man. Dude, I hope I survive the last 2 months of this year, man.
Yeah, dude. Now that you read out the list, there's more good movies coming out than I even realized. The movie that I'm most excited for, I'd have to say Sherlock Holmes, coming out in December. House of Gucci, because I want to see Lady Gaga act.
She's a solid actress.
Obviously, because I brought up the Many Saints of Newark. That's, especially because I'm watching The Sopranos right now. But yeah, those are probably the 3 movies I'm most excited for.
There's the new Matrix movie too.
Oh my gosh.
God damn. Could be a good end of the year.
Well, that's it for the questions today. Any closing thoughts?
Any closing thoughts? Yeah, I want to apologize to the people because there was not a segment on things John has done that he should regret but doesn't. We don't have one today. Although I will say some stupid shit I did yesterday while we were filming a dialogue scene. For no reason at all, I yelled that they got the Velociraptor sounds in Jurassic Park by recording 2 turtles having sex. So, yeah, completely unwarranted.
For me, no real final thoughts. I'm having a pretty good semester so far. My English teacher loves me. I can do no wrong. Meanwhile, my macroeconomics teacher is giving me a hard time. Dude, that dude grades. That dude grades hard. Okay, who's the most annoying neighbor that you've ever had?
Oh God, dude. My old street, there was this girl who was a bitch. She moved to Texas.
Okay.
We were at war all the time. She was kind of annoying. She was kind of power hungry. I don't know if I ever told you the story of when me and my friend scared the piss and shit out of her.
I don't know if you did.
So all the kids were playing outside on the street at night, and she was pissing me off. So I went inside and I got my friend who lived backyard neighbors with us. And I was like, do you want to help me scare this person? And he's like, absolutely. So we dressed in dark gray and black. It was the middle of summer, by the way. We had like long sleeves on. We had black jeans on. We had skull caps and our hoods up. I mean, we looked like we were about to rob a place. So what we're doing is we go to the top of the street. We looped around to the top of the street. Everyone's playing at the bottom of the street. And we were just ever so slowly inching our way forward down to the bottom of the street. Well, at some point, she thought she saw something move behind a wall. And so she's like, hey, can someone go see what that was? Because she was too scared to check.
Yeah.
So they sent someone to go look. And he came around the corner and saw us. And we did like the thing about being quiet. We did like the sh finger.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gave us a subtle thumbs up and then left and said there was nothing there. So keep in mind, we didn't plan this. It just so happened that he decided to become in on it. And then a few minutes later, she's like, I think he's lying. There's something there. So then he sent my sister to go look. So she walked up, she looked behind the wall, we did the same thing, and then she gave us a slight thumbs up and said there's nothing there. Once again, not planned. She had no clue we were going to do this. Then she's like, you're both lying to me. I'm going to go look. So she started walking very cautiously, and once she got to a certain point, me and my buddy jumped out from behind where we were hiding and hauled it as fast as we could straight towards her. Scared the shit out of her. So anyway, she went back inside after that. She didn't want to come play. She didn't want to play outside anymore. And then the next night, or a couple nights later, we were going to watch a movie. And I was like, all right, I got to go watch a movie. I'm going inside. And then she went inside too because she thought we were going to come out and scare her again.
Yeah, that's I can't remember the last time I scared someone, but that's definitely a good moment of this harmony between you and the people around you decided to scare the piss out of this person.
Yep.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Back of the Class for the 5 viewers who are just random people who somehow got this recommended. With all that being said, it is The Back of the Class signing off for episode 4.